Hello, my name is Toby and thanks ever so much for tuning in for my regular vlog. I want, a bit like I did last week, to talk about two groups of folk working within our organisation. First of all, it's been marvellous this week to see all the celebrations around our virtual ward. Great event up at St Catherine's House, not just with our teams, but with colleagues who work in Doncaster Royal and across the health and care system. Also with patients telling their stories of how this has benefited them, and in particular perhaps of how much more self-control, power, autonomy people are able to experience when they're able to maintain activities of daily living and familiar surroundings against maybe being for a wee while in a hospital bed. So hugely successful. The 500th patient has been through the service recently. I think it's onwards and I think it's upwards. Really exciting, well done to the team. But I also wanted to acknowledge, if you work in our community respiratory team, perhaps in our heart failure service, you're one of our many hundreds of district nurses, you may find all the attention being on virtual ward just occasionally slightly grating, because there's some fantastic work that's been going on over many, many years, working in specialist areas and working in partnership with primary care. And it's really important that the focus by our organisation, by people like me on virtual ward, is not simply drawn to the newest thing. So big shout out and acknowledgement for all the work that you are doing and the innovation that sometimes goes unnoticed within that work. And the second group of folk I wanted to talk about work in our facilities services. So over the course of the next 10 days, those teams will be moving across to a slightly different management structure. So colleagues in print services go and join my friends in the communications team, and for many other folk working in facilities, you'll be moving across, still led by Lisa so excellently, to work within the nursing and quality team, with Steve Forsyth coming on board as our chief nurse in a few days' time. Why are we doing that? Well, if you work in catering, if you work in laundry, you work in domestic and cleaning services, you know the impact that you have on patient care. And from my point of view and the board's point of view, it just feels right that that very direct impact on patient care is acknowledged by the clinical leadership that Steve and his teams are going to be able to provide. So it's a small shift, but it's a big change as well, and it's motivated by getting that alignment right. There's one other thing too. I think we see a number of services in facilities as ideal spaces for folk with lived experience to come into employment in Ardash, to then maybe progress through a career, possibly into a clinical space or a clinical discipline. So again, we see putting the educational expertise that sits within Steve's portfolio around those facility services is a gain. Our estate experts stay working within finance and estates. I'll say more about that in the future, but I just wanted to acknowledge the change and to explain face to face why it's happening. Thanks so much. It's not long now till the end of March, so if you haven't got your PDR, please get it booked in, even if it's for April. That is the absolute heart of our wellbeing checks that we need to do with everybody who works in our organisation. All the best.